Rain hammered the tin roof of Marty's diner, a flickering neon sign buzzing outside like a broken heartbeat. Inside, laughter mixed with the smell of grease and spilled beer. At the far corner, a young waitress, thin, tired, her uniform a size too big, moved quietly between tables. Her name was Lena. She never spoke much, eyes always down as if afraid they'd give away her story. Then the door slammed open. A group of bikers stormed in, leather, tattoos, and trouble. One of them, tall and scarred, slammed his hand on the counter. "Hey, sweetheart," he sneered. "Smile for your customers." Lena forced a shaky grin and poured his drink. But when she turned to leave, he grabbed her wrist, hard. The room went silent. "Don't walk away from me," he barked, yanking her so sharply that her shirt tore open across the back. Gasps filled the air. What everyone saw beneath that ripped fabric made every head turn, and every mouth fall open in stunned silence. The torn fabric revealed a pattern of deep, faded scars, crisscrossing her back like a story written in pain. The laughter died instantly. Even the jukebox seemed to choke on its song. The biker's hand fell away as if burned. For a long, breathless moment, no one spoke. Lena froze, her eyes wide with humiliation and fear. Then, with trembling fingers, she tried to pull her shirt together, whispering, "Please, don't look." The big man stumbled back, muttering, "What the hell happened to you?" But Lena didn't answer. She turned, tears mixing with rainwater on her cheeks, and bolted toward the kitchen. Behind her, whispers rose like smoke, everyone wondering who she was and what those scars meant. Yet one person, an older cook with kind eyes, followed her quietly. He knew a secret no one else in that bar did, and it was time the truth came out. Lena leaned against the cold metal counter in the kitchen, her breath shaking as she tried to tie her apron tighter around her back. The sound of rain and murmuring customers seeped through the walls. Her hands trembled, not from the chill, but from memories clawing their way back. The cook, Earl, stepped inside slowly, a towel slung over his shoulder. "Kid," he said softly, "you don't gotta hide anymore." Lena flinched, eyes darting up. "Please, just don't say anything. I'll lose this job." Earl shook his head, voice low. "Lose it? After what you've survived? You should be proud you're even standing." She blinked, confused. You know?" He nodded, his gaze full of a pain that matched hers. "I used to volunteer at the shelter downtown. I remember you, Lena. The girl who escaped that fire." Her knees buckled at the word fire. The past she had buried was about to ignite again, right in front of everyone. Lena's breath caught as the memories flooded back, flames licking the walls of a small trailer, her mother's screams fading behind smoke, and the cruel hands of a foster father who treated her like a burden. She had run, barefoot and broken, never looking back. The scars weren't just from that fire, they were from survival. "I thought if I worked hard enough no one would see," she whispered, tears falling onto the counter. Earl's voice trembled. "You don't have to hide pain that wasn't your fault, kid." But in the main room the noise was rising again. The biker who'd ripped her shirt, Rex, stood frozen in guilt as the others muttered. Shame crept over his rough face. "Man, she's just a kid," one of his buddies muttered. Rex slammed his beer down and said, "I didn't know." But the words felt hollow. He pushed open the kitchen door, his boots echoing like thunder, and everyone turned to see what he would do next. Rex stood in the doorway, rain dripping from his jacket, eyes locked on Lena. For a man known for breaking bones, he suddenly looked small, ashamed, human. "I'm sorry," he said, his voice cracking. "I didn't mean—" But Lena cut him off, whispering, "You didn't mean to hurt me." "But you did." The air hung thick between them. Earl stepped forward, ready to shield her, but Lena raised a trembling hand. "It's okay, Earl." She looked straight at Rex, her fear giving way to quiet strength. "You tore my shirt, but that's not what hurt. It's that people like you think you can." The bar had gone silent again. Then, to everyone's surprise, Rex dropped to one knee, head bowed. "I got a little girl," he murmured, voice breaking. "If anyone ever touched her the way I just grabbed you—" His words died. The whole bar watched as a hardened man broke in front of a girl who'd already been broken once. And outside, the sirens began to wail in the distance. The tension in the diner was thick enough to taste. Lena's chest heaved, but for the first time in years, she didn't feel completely alone. Just then, the bell above the door jingled and a small, rain-soaked girl stepped inside, eyes wide and trembling. "Mommy?" she whispered, clutching a torn backpack. Lena froze, heart pounding. The resemblance was unmistakable. The same haunted look, the same desperate fear she remembered in herself. The bar fell silent. Bystanders gasped. She hadn't seen the child before, yet something in her gut screamed, this girl needed her. Lena knelt slowly, voice soft. "Hey, it's okay. I've got you." The girl hesitated, then whispered the words that would change everything. "Can you be my mommy instead?" The diner seemed to hold its breath as Lena stared at her, realizing that a lifetime of running might finally lead her to the place she was meant to stand. Lena's hands shook as she wrapped her arms around the trembling child. The bar erupted, not in laughter or shock this time, but in a quiet murmur of hope and awe. Earl and the other staff gathered around, offering warm blankets and whispered encouragement. Outside, the rain softened, almost as if the storm itself was letting go. A kind stranger in the crowd spoke up. "There's a shelter nearby. They can help both of you." Lena's chest tightened, but for the first time, she didn't feel fear. She looked into the girl's tear-streaked face and whispered, "I will be your mommy. I promise." Around them, strangers began to see what courage truly looked like. Not a loud fight or a heroic act, but the quiet bravery of opening your heart when the world had only ever closed it. And in that diner, amidst spilled drinks and flickering neon, a new family was born, proving that love and bravery could heal even the deepest scars. The bar stayed silent for a moment longer, then slowly, quietly, clapped, not for the storm outside, but for the storm conquered inside one young woman's heart.